Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Seesaw Enhanced. My name is Sarah Smith. I work up in Black River Middle School. I am a Seesaw ambassador. So, what that means is that I take training in Seesaw every year to learn about the latest and greatest in Seesaw. So, what I'm going to be going over today is kind of going over different things that you can do to kind of go beyond the basics of just finding an activity and posting it to your students. We're going to go over how to create an activity, how to modify an activity, organize your activities and your students. Okay, we're going to talk about skills and different things that you can do with the skills tab. By the way, the skills tab is just for the Seesaw Plus and Seesaw for schools, okay? And ways you can use the blog, all right? So let's get started with learning how to do activities. All right, so we're going to actually go into the journal, okay? So in the journal, what we're going to do is we want to get into the activities. There's two ways you can get into activities. You can go into activities here. You can click on the bottom, but I find it faster to go this way. So with activities, it's going to go a little slow. You can do one of two things. You can create it in Seesaw, or you can create them in Google Drive in Google Slides and pull it up into it. Okay, so either one is absolutely fine. So I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. So when we come in, what you would be doing is you would be writing your name, your instructions. Okay, you can create a voice instruction. So for any of the students who may be really young and have a trouble reading it, you can just add voice instructions instead. Okay, if you want to do a different kind of instruction here, and I've used this multimedia one where I've said watch the video, or you can just use this and it'll show you how to, you can just say, hey, I'm going to show you exactly what I want you to do. But regardless, if you use any of these, you have to add in a template. Okay. Now the template, when you go through, you can create your own, or you can bring one up from your Google Drive. Okay. Now I'm going to come out of this one. I'm going to go into one that I've kind of been playing around with. Oh, no way. Let's try it again. Beautiful. Okay. So I kind of was playing around with this one. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Bitmojis and well, how do people use them? What are they doing? I'm going to go into these three dots. Now, remember the three dots always allows you to edit things. So we're going to go edit. Okay. Now, what I did was I came up with a title name. I wrote down my directions. And then the one thing that you're going to notice here, okay, so I put this dot. Then you get to this right here. It says check. It's like, wow, why did she write that? That is actually going to be a visual, okay? If you go into something called, look up Seesaw icons, shortcuts, or Seesaw shortcuts. That's how I do. All of the images, well, I think there might be one or two that might not be, but all the images on Seesaw have a shortcut. So how you would do that is you would type the two dots, okay, and then the word. Now, not everything kind of goes with it. So, for example, let's see, the ad is just ad. It doesn't say ad response, okay? But most everything's kind of work together, all right? So let's go back here. So I wrote down my instructions. Now, if I wanted to, I could read this. So for anyone who is having difficulty reading, so maybe first graders, you could possibly type it out, okay? Put in some icons as well, and then read it over so they can kind of get used to it, reading and being able to hear it as well. And then I'm going to add my template, okay? Now, what I did with my template is I actually was creating this in Google Slides, okay? And then I pulled it up into Seesaw. So when I have it. I'm going to move this. That was what was in it right there, plain. I created video by just going in here, creating video, and I put it inside. Okay. Then go into the second one. Now, this right here is your basic choice board, okay? You're like, well, how does this look? How is this a choice board? Okay, so what I did was the background is basically just boxes, okay? It could be boxes, it could be an image, okay? Like one of these images could be it. And you can create hyperlinks out of any of these. So what I did was I just took a text. There it is. Okay, so let's say elements. Okay. Let's put it down where you guys can see it. There we are. Okay. So what you do is you click on the 3 dots and it says link. Okay. And you can create a link. Now, how did I get it so it's, I don't have the box around it? Well, that all depends on, did you want it like that? Do you want to create it like this? Okay. Up to you. All right. Now, I just happily had it blank because it was just blank. Okay. Now, let's say you have an image already there. Okay. You can just put spaces. Okay. Put over. And these spaces that are here, okay, you can hyperlink this little area. So when they touch it, it will go someplace else. All right, another thing that you can do is this one right here is linked to another activity. So you can kind of lead one activity to the next. And kids can actually pick up in a different spot. So how did I do that? Well, I'll get to that in a second. Now the multi-pages is for Seesaw Plus and Seesaw for schools, okay? So how you do that is you go back and forth, okay? And you just add a page. Now, how would this work? I'd add a page. I could say, draw 5 lines after they've done their research. Maybe I didn't have this right here. Maybe this one was blank. So the next one was, this could be actually show what you know. Could be linked to slide number 3. Okay, so when they're done, they go to slide number 3. Okay, it says draw 5 different lines. Then they can draw different lines. I can put at the bottom, show what you know. Okay. Okay. And it can be linked to the next one. So this would be linked to page 4. Okay, so they'd have to keep going, or you can go to the next slide. Here, all right, what they could do is you could be like, find 3 different colors of green in your house. Take a picture and add them below. So they could do that. They could take pictures and add it below. Or you could say, for example, this one. Okay, this was an idea that I had that I found. It's a little blurry. Let's unlock that, delete it. So let's say you really want to create something like this, okay? So a couple options. You can copy, paste, okay, and expand. Now, unfortunately, you can't click on it to how you're able to adjust the image. You could do it this way. You could also go in and you can do a screen capture. Okay, so for example, if I had a screen capture, okay, I could say, all right, I just want this amount. Okay, bring that in. Now I have a Mac to be able to do this. Okay, so I would do that. Another way you can do is there is an extension called It's a seesaw reflection seesaw reflection or reflection for seesaw. Okay, and it's able to capture items on your computer, so you can actually put it in. All right, which is very cool. Let's do this now. How can we kind of work this? So let's put evaporation, and we're gonna put. Oops. Let's try this again. Precipitation. Okay. So instead of them actually cutting them out, they can actually move them. Oops. Didn't realize that. Okay, sorry guys. Order, bring back. There we are. You can have them move the items. Okay, and I've done this where you can create like a word bank, so students can just take them. Okay, I would suggest that you possibly lock some of this stuff down so they don't move everything. Okay, so here you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put this one here. I'm gonna put this one here, and you're like, okay, great. So tell them, say, no, you need to go back and you need to go and work this out. Okay, so they can manipulate. So that's how you can create more of an interactive thing. When they're done, you can say, when you're done creating that, go and record yourself, okay? Explain the whole cycle. Be like, I put condensation because this is going here. I put precipitation because it's here, and evaporation is here. And when they're done, you can see what they've done, and you can also hear their examples as well. All right. Another thing that you can also do is when they're recording, they can draw on the actual board as well, which is really cool. All right, this in the background, if you're looking for, if you're math and you need to do some kind of connection or you create a graph, you can also have them do writing samples. There we go. You're filling. I can't see the background. That's why. There we go. Okay, so we can put lines. I can put a link in here. So let's say I want them to go to, what is a good one? Seesaw. Okay. Gonna slowly get there. I think that's the actual thing. Okay, we can put it in here. So if we want them to go to ABCI, you can click the link and it'll go there as well. Okay, see, ABCI. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's actually come out of this one. Right. So when I go and I share them with the students, okay, you can actually automatically put these into your, oh no, you can't. You gotta put them in next time. Folders. Okay, so let's hit save. So when you send them out, you know that assign, okay, you assign them, and I would suggest that you put them into folders, okay? Because what happens is that the students can actually find their stuff based on a folder, okay? So let's go into something that I've already created. Something else. Okay, let's go into one that I found. I'll show you how that folder works. I'm going to delete this one because we're going to remake this one. All right. Here we go. So I went on the community and I found this one. Okay. I kind of liked it and I wanted to be able to use it again. All right. So when I downloaded, I basically put a heart on it and it linked it to my library. Okay. And when I go in to work on it, I have to copy and edit the activity. Okay. So I did that. So here we are. So I, made a copy. Now I'm going to go into edit the activity, and maybe I didn't like this. I wanted to use, say, hey, use the pen tool, the whatever tool, and I add them in there. Okay. In the template, maybe I want them to says date, did I, whatever. I might say, hey, do me a favor, can you draw on the outside how you're feeling or something like that. Okay. Save. Now, we want to assign this. So let's say I go into folders. Okay, so folders, I say, you know what? This is my weekly reflection. All these are going to be in this folder. Okay, you can do this based on a unit. Okay, or let's say you teach many different subjects. You can based on the subject. It could be based on a week. It could be based on explain on my work like a unit. Any of them. Okay. So let's say we're going to add that. So it says it's being shared with 6 students and 1 folder. Okay. What does that look like? And by the way, that's how you edit someone else's assignment. Okay, so when I go into activities, all right, we can actually click in under activities assigned to class. And when you go through into that folder, it shows you the assignments that have been assigned to this class in that folder. When a student is in their classroom, if they click on activities, they have the same options as well. But it will say to do, it will say in progress, or draft. Okay, just to let you know, the draft and the in progress are only for Seesaw Plus and Seesaws for Schools, and done. So all they'll do is they'll go into the same thing. They'll go into that, and then they'll be able to click on to that folder and say, "Oh, I have no more assignments for that." And by the way, when they do click on them and it's under the to do, that means they haven't done it, and assignments will come out of those folders as they finish them. Okay. All right. Let's go back into our activities. Okay. Now, with your activities, you're probably going to find that you're going to collect a lot of them. Okay, so right now I'm up to 210 that I like. Now, I do these videos and stuff like that, so I collect different ones. But a good way of organizing for yourself is to putting them into collections. Okay, so for example, let's see my altered art. I have 3 that I've put into this collection. These are for assignments that are for students who are a little lower. So I create assignments that go into here. Now, for example, I created this one where it was, start like they had to match the colors into this one. This one they had to trace after watching a video. All these different things. You're like, well, wait a minute, how did you get them in there? Okay, let me show you. So, for example, let's put in this one. Okay. So what you would do is you go in and you'd write add collection. You can plus to make your own folder, and then you just click on where it needs to belong. Okay, and that's it. That's how you can organize yours. All right, let's see. Anything else we need? Perfect. On to the skills. Oh, and by the way, you can build activities in Seesaw. I just find that it's sometimes a little bit easier to do them in Google Drive to a point, and then add the little movable features in Seesaw. Okay, so for example, when I was, let's see a good example. Come on. So one of my assignments that I had for, oh, here we go. Okay, is this one? Draw 10 hearts. Okay. Um, oh, here we go. All right. So I was working on Starry Night, and what I did was I created the background to be the base, and then inside Seesaw, when I did this, I added the images. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to kind of share with you, creating those transparent images. I'm going to show you this one. Okay. So is that one, and then they had to do this. All right. The word bank was not created until I got into to Seesaw. Okay. But everything else was created in Google Drive. Now you can also put this into Seesaw as well. And then you have these images in the bottom. How did I get the images? All right. When you start searching up things, okay, you need to put the word transparent background, okay? And that will give you a nice, easy transfer with nothing in the background. But if you can't find it, so let's say there's no way, you find the image with a white background. This website right here, remove.bg, fantastic. Okay, I've removed multiple backgrounds. Okay, and it's great because then you can just copy and paste right in. All right. So for example, I'm going to show you how that works. Let's actually go into, let's go into this one, which is fine. Okay, so how is it that I can add them? So I'm gonna select the tool. Oh, such a car with no background. So let's look at, all right, cartoon car. Here we are. Let's put in, yeah, that works. So I'm going to take this image, okay? I'm going to save as, okay? Now this is going to go to wherever it is that you save your images. Okay, mine, if you notice, it kind of pops up on the bottom. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to drop it straight in. So simple. Remove, download, went back to the bottom here, or wherever yours is gone in. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it straight in. Okay, super easy. So I'm going to take this one out, put this one in, and then it's a lot easier to manipulate. Okay, so that's how you can create transparent backgrounds. All right, so I'm going to save this and then hit save. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the skills. Okay, so skills. Skills in blog, when I think they were created, they may have been for one item, but over the years, people have found that they actually can be used for different ideas. So, when I first started with skills, I would actually look for items such as, let's say I need their shading. They need to be able to demonstrate gradation. Okay. So what I would do is I would tag it saying, okay, this image has gradation. All right. So let's go into the journal and I'll show you how to tag. Now, by the way, that's the skills is only for, as I said, the Seesaw Plus and for schools. All right, so we're gonna put this in here. So draw yourself. Okay. So let's say I'm gonna go into a little cap. Okay. I could add a new skill, or if I've already kind of created a skill, Okay, so I'm going to add a new skill. This is going to be portrait. Demonstrate a portrait. I'm going to put PR. Portrait. You got to pick which, level. Say it's third grade. Pretty much it. Basically, the top two are all you got to do. Now, when you go through, it's going to give you a breakdown. Okay, we can grade this, all right, and show a transition on how it's getting better. So I want that one to be there. Okay, so it's now counted as portrait. Now, right now, I feel out of a stars rating, it's like, okay, he's doing really good. It's like, still has more to grow. So when I go over to skills, it's portrait. Okay, I see, he's got one example of a portrait. The last one that he gave me was a light green. Okay, now as we kind of go, I might do another portrait. I might be able to tag another portrait, and I might notice that all of a sudden it might be a yellow or red. Be like, something's not right. They're not understanding. Or if it continues up going with the different colors higher and higher, I understand that that skill is, good and strong. I'm like, well, how do I mark them? Okay, well, let's go in here. When you slide down the skills, you can change it from 4 stars, 3 stars, 6, your choice, okay? Not a fan of those colors? They got a couple other options too, okay? So those are the skills. Now, what else can you do with the skills? Let's say you don't want to, you're not looking to do it that way. Another way is that you can do by week, okay? I did one marking period where I tagged all of the assignments for for 1 week. Okay, so I had like 6 assignments that the kids had to do. Right, and that's all they had to complete was the 6 assignments. And it was hard for me to kind of see where everyone was, posting, and I just wanted one spot. So here's another way. You could say week 1. All right, everyone right now, as of week 1, only one person has submitted assignments. Okay, you could quickly say, hey, I need to see people submitting assignments. I want everyone to submit 2 assignments by Tuesday. Then you can kind of see from there. So that's another way you can use the skills. Student portfolio. All right, so let's say you have conferences coming up and you want to hit certain things, key things that you want to show to the parents. So let's say, for example, Mona Lisa. Okay, you can show a whole bunch of things. Now, one thing that is awesome is that you can have students. So let's say they're writing something and it's not on Seesaw. You'd be like, hey, do me a favor, go over to Seesaw and I want to take a picture and upload it to your journal. Okay, so that's where I had the one folder, my work. Okay, so they can upload straight into that, and then later on you can come over and click it to the just add it to there. Okay, say up, I'm going to click it, it's in, and I'm not going to even grade it because I just want it to go in. All right, so later on you can go in, when you're talking with parents, and you can be like, hey, these are all the examples of where they're at. It could be pictures of them, early on. You can see them growing. You can see, not only digital examples, but, examples that they can do in class as well. Okay, so those are my 3 ways that you can use the skills. Okay, the blog. All right, so when setting up your blog, come down here and you're going to click enable blog. Okay, so when it first comes up, it's going to ask you to set it up. Settings, right? Yes. So if for mine it says show folders on the blog. You don't have to. You can turn that off. Enable comments on blog. I do, but I talk to my class about being appropriate on what is, what can be posted on it. You can password protect. Now, when I do find that people feel that this is says people outside of your class will need this password in order to blog. It could be anything, something simple that your students can remember, but nothing that other people could do. So, for example, let's say my students know that I love Bob Ross, so I might put Bob Ross. Or if you had like a mascot for your class, mine would probably be a flamingo because I love flamingos too. So we'd put them in. Okay, so I'm going to cancel, but I'm going to take that off. So that's one way to set it up. Next is appearance. Okay, so you're going to come up with a name. You're going to get a URL. You can go with it, or if you want, you can create your own, but make it unique that people are not going to use it. I tend to use ones where it says like art class, the year, the marking period, and then the period. So they always tend to change, but the unique, is how I do it. And then you can do a header, okay? With the header, you can just add an image. Okay. Go back down. Oh, and last is connecting blogs. So, for example, why would you want to connect to a blog? Let's say you want to connect between maybe possibly a grade level. So let's say you have a sister class or brother class or whatever you want to call them, okay? And in that space, you guys share in that class. So let's say one class does the morning meeting or the weather, and then the other class, so you guys can share. This would be a great like community effort to like share between classes. Or if you want to, let's say you had two eighth grade art classes, say for a chance, and you wanted to connect them through there, you can do that as well. All right. Okay. So what does this blog look like? So all the students have access to this, okay? If you want comments on, you can. If you don't, you don't. What can you do with a blog? Well, you have to decide, what do you want with your blog? Do you want this to be more of a space where kids can show off good work? Do you want it to be a space where, let's say you do like a morning meeting kind of thing where it's a check-in, you post a video to it, and kids have the comment on underneath. You could be like a checking of, like, what do you think is going on in this picture? And they have to answer it, okay? They have to use the clues to figure it out. My daughter was doing fact families. You say, oh, come up with your own fact family, and try not to have someone else do it. So that you could do that. It could be a space where someone did something fabulous, saying, hey, check out this artwork, blah, 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 today. This could be a space for almost like a show and tell. Students can post here. It could be a student of the day or student of the week or whatever. It could be almost anything. You just got to find what you want to do for this space. Now, how do you get your stuff into this space? Great question. This little globe, okay? So let's say I'm in here, okay? And these are all the pictures I was playing around with, okay? And let's say this is phenomenal. You want to share with the class because they were fun, they did great. All you have to do is just click that little world and it's published to the blog, and now everyone can see it. Okay, so if I go in the blog, there it is. Okay. Now, if you want to share something to the blog, okay, now I do understand that things are going to be shared in the feed, okay, but sometimes things can get overwhelming, and they can just go in there. So let's say I want to share post assignment. This can also be quickly a do now too. So let's say morning while I'm setting up my whatever, I don't know, camera. So we're all going to be making sure the camera's all good. Please write Please write one thing you learned yesterday. Okay, it could be a review. Okay, below. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to post it all here. Okay. Let's say we don't put it into a folder, or you can create one that is for a blog. I'm going to post it in any of them right now. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that world. So when kids come in, they know maybe to go to the blog. The first thing they have to do is this assignment. Okay. Be like, good morning. While I'm sitting at my camera, please write one thing you learned today. Okay, well, yesterday I learned about the water cycle. Okay, and they can kind of go through on this, so they can post it. Okay, so that's how to do the blog. All right. Uh, as I said, some of these are multi-purpose. Okay, that's really cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that might be it for this PD. We just learned how to create an activity, modify, and all that. Different ways that we can use uh, the skills tab, okay, and ways that you can incorporate the blog into your activities, okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And that is it for this PD. Thank you.